We want to get straight to our breaking news this morning. Irish singer Sinead O'Connor, who shot to fame, of course, with one of the most haunting breakup songs of all time, has died at the age of just 56.
Nothing compares to you.
Her family releasing a statement saying it is with great sadness that we announce the passing of our beloved Sinead. Live to Europe correspondent Sarah Greenolt in London. Sarah, she leaves behind an incredible music legacy.
No, she does. Most people this evening, local time, making the point that we have lost someone who was so ahead of her time. She really did shoot to fame with that incredible cover of Nothing Compares to You. 1990, it topped charts right around the world, making her a household name. Sinead O'Connor, known for her singing ability, but also for being an activist, outspoken on a number of issues, with tributes flowing in from all corners this evening. The Irish Prime Minister saying her music was loved around the world and her talent was unmatched and beyond compare. Irish MMA fighter Conor McGregor has also been posting photos of the pair together. His words: "The world has lost an artist with the voice of an angel. Ireland has lost an iconic voice and one of our absolute finest by a long shot. And I have lost a friend." She had a tragic 18 months as well, Sinead O'Connor. Well, she battled with her mental and physical health for years, diagnosed with bipolar and fibromyalgia. But last January, her 17-year-old son, Shane, took his own life in the January. So an incredibly sad story to have to bring you this morning. Sinead O'Connor dead at the age of 56. Nat.
OK, thank you, Sarah. Here's Sherbo.
Thanks, Nat. In more breaking news, a man has been shot dead this morning. The third shooting in Western Sydney in 5 days. Live to Liam Tapper in Canterbury. Liam, what more do we know?
Morning, Shervo. Well, we know that this remains a very active crime scene here in Canterbury this morning. Now, we are just metres away. This is Canterbury Road. It's one of the busiest roads in Western Sydney. And I'll take you down here because this is the crime scene. It remains a very active crime scene where that man in his 20s was found dead this morning around 2 a.m. with multiple gunshot wounds to his body. A number of ambulance crews were called here to the scene after those reports of gunfire. They tried to treat the man, but he was pronounced dead. Now, at this stage, it's very early on in the investigation. We have homicide detectives along with police from Burwood. They are investigating whether this is yet another gangland hit. If it was, it would be the 19th gangland hit in this ongoing war. Of course, just less than 24 hours. It comes less than 24 hours after Mahmoud Abbas, one of Sydney's leading defence lawyers who has a number of links to gangland clients. He was shot yesterday in Greenacre, the same street as another gangland hit took place last year. These avenues are still being investigated this morning. However, Shervo, I can confirm that there is a gunman once again on the loose here in Sydney.
Yeah, scenes we're seeing far too often. Thanks, Liam.
Let's get more news now. Here's Eddie.
Thank you, Nat. Victoria has just landed a multi-billion-dollar defence deal to build a fleet of next-generation combat vehicles. Let's go live to Nathan Curry, who's at Avalon Airport near Geelong this morning. Nathan, this is a major win for the state.
Yeah, it is, Eddie. Absolutely huge, particularly for the city of Geelong, which is going to be pretty pumped when they wake up this morning. The news is really just breaking over the night that a South Korean company has won its bid to provide the Australian Army with 129 next-generation tanks, which they're going to build right here at its new base here at Avalon Airport, which is under construction at the moment. The deal is worth up to $21 billion, and the tanks they're building are known as Redbacks, which are going to change the way the Australian Army goes about combat. We're chasing comment from the federal government. This is the turf of the Deputy PM, so no doubt we'll be hearing from Richard Marles at some point today, as well as plenty of other leaders around Geelong. It's a big morning for them, Eddie.
Yeah, it certainly is. Thank you, Nathan. We have some good news for families this morning. The cost of living is coming down, making a 13th interest rate rise next week less likely. Let's go live to Georgie Chumley in Brisbane. Georgie, this will come as a shock to a lot of people going to the supermarket, but prices are rising at their slowest rate in 2 years.
Good morning, Eddie. That's right. Hope is growing that we've turned a corner with the cost of living crisis, with inflation dropping to 6% in the June quarter. That's down from 7% in the March quarter. And the Reserve Bank of Australia, they're meeting next week. It's hoped that they will take that into account and not deliver a 13th rate rise. But as you say, the cost of everything isn't dropping. Electricity, in particular in Queensland and in Brisbane, has risen by 25% over the past year. That is the biggest increase right across the country and double what we've seen in Hobart and in Adelaide. Other things that have risen in cost are health costs as well as rent and insurance here in Queensland for cars and houses, particularly because we've had those natural disasters as well as the youth crime crisis, which we've seen lots of car thefts and home break-ins. But the overall message is good, that we are seeing inflation dropping, although, as you say, it is still incredibly high. Eddie?
Thank you, Georgie. Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey has broken down in tears after being found not guilty of sexual assault overnight. Let's go live to US correspondent Marley Hogan. Marley, these charges saw him cancelled in Hollywood, of course, removed from House of Cards. Can he make a comeback now, do you think?
Well, Eddie, it appeared the Hollywood actor viewed this trial as a chance for redemption. He previously gave an interview saying that there were people ready to hire him for projects as soon as he was cleared of these charges. Well, now he has been found not guilty on 9 counts of sexual assault. This trial that took place in London for around 1 month heard from 4 different men who outlined accusations against the US actor. They claim these assaults took place between 2001 and 2013 when Kevin Spacey was the artistic director at the Old Vic Theatre in London. The prosecutors tried to paint him as a man who used his power and influence over these victims, but the defence hit back, saying that these encounters either didn't happen or that they were consensual. It took a jury 12 hours to deliberate. They could not reach a unanimous verdict. It came down to a majority. When that not guilty verdict was read out, the US actor broke down in tears.
But I would like to say that I'm enormously grateful to the jury for having taken the time to examine all of the evidence and all of the facts carefully before they reached their decision. And I am humbled by the outcome today.
Kevin Spacey gave evidence in this trial saying that these accusations had blown up his life, cost him his reputation and his job. If we see him back on our screens, well, that will be a matter of time before we know if that will happen. Eddie?
Interesting to see. Thank you so much, Marley.